Time to pre-sprout your ranunculus corms. I got these from Tulip World. This one is a yellow ranunculus bulb. They look like a little dried up octopuses. They're really ugly, look like they have no potential in life, but pre-sprouting them makes them plump. I have a bag that I would use to cover my grapes to keep insects out. It's just an insect bag. So I'm going to keep all the same ones together in their bag and label them. Double check your bag, make sure the claws didn't get stuck on anything. This one is the yellow ranunculus. And putting them in a mesh bag so that they can get the water can come through. I did label it with a tea bag that I have, so I'm not gonna drop this into the water. I labeled it as yellow and how many corms I have. These are corms, not considered bulbs. My tags are on the outside. They're wrapped around the handle. So you're going to put them in lukewarm water for 4 to 12 hours is what the research says, but 3 to 4 hours, I think they should be plump. So we will check them every hour. At least you need good aeration every single hour. Either you're going to replace the water or you're going to just pop them up and down, get some oxygenation into the water because these corms will rot. When you're pre-sprouting, your goal is to not rot your corms. The tray I'm going to use when it's time, going to use regular dirt, not seed starting mixes. You can use regular dirt from pots that you are through with that dirt. Just hydrate it. Using a pan that will actually let it drain through. So this pan has some holes, and then I'm going to place it inside a pan that can catch that water so that I'm not rotting my corms. You'll use some moist soil first, and then we will line up these colors. These are going to go into a raised bed when they are ready, 4 to 6 weeks before your last frost, so they can handle the cold weather. They do need to be hardened off if you're starting them inside and not in a greenhouse. We'll go through that process once we check back in about 4 hours to make sure that these have plumped up. Remember, keep them aerated. Keep them either by jostling them around or changing their water, whichever you feel like would be the safest. Ranunculus have now been soaking for 4 hours and they look excellent. So let's take them out, take a look at them. Kept the tags successfully dry. The goal is to not rot these corms. That is the goal. So, knowing that, it continues on after you have had them soaking in water. After hour 1, I agitated the water. After hour 2, I added new water, drained it and added new water. Hour 3, agitated again. Here we have the yellow. And big difference. Well, this one's a tiny one. And then let me grab a bigger one and then I'll hold them up. Their little legs are going to be plump. And it looks so good. Nice and plump and ready to pre-sprout. We start with some moist soil in a container that will actually drain. So it's going to be in the house a gnat attractor. I'm going to be ready for that. You're going to have to be intentional with this. So you're going to put down your first layer of soil, and then we're going to nestle them here and add a light layer of soil on top. And this is soil, not seed starting mix. I have my labels. I'm not planning on a humidity dome here because I do not want them to rot. So we're going to have to be intentional with this. Let's start with the pastel. There's only 25 of the pastel. So we'll start with our label at the top of that row. These are going to go with the legs down. A little octopus. Now they are pre-sprouting. I'm not going to give them a ton of space. When I move them outside, they will get all the space that they need. I'm going to move on to yellow. Starting right here, I'm going to have to use another tray because I have 50 in here. Let me top these and I will get another tray. Okay, I have another tray right here. Just to moisten up the soil a little bit. I will save the rest of the yellow. Let me go to the white. One I have is orange. Let's see if I can get that. Get all of the 50 oranges together. Looks like I'll need another tray. Let me go grab one more. All right, all of them are through. So let's line them up on the table. If you do not have a tray that will allow it to leak through, then just be very intentional with your watering, because the goal is to not rot these when you're soaking them, not to rot them when you're watering them in. And I just would prefer to use my mister for now, because I feel like it's going to give me just what I need to get started. I'm going to use the neem oil, and I'm going to use the gnat stickers, because I'm going to be prepared. I believe these are going to sprout within a week, maybe 10 days. When we see them sprout, that's great, but we're going to have to let them keep going before they'll be ready to be up potted. I'm not using a humidity dome because I do not want them to rot. Now the neem oil in preparation for those gnats. I will probably need several bottles of this as my seed starting area is not in a greenhouse outside. They do not need light until they sprout, but if you are too busy in life, you can put them underneath a light that has a timer, and it's ready to go, and it will catch them as soon as they have a little bit of sprouts. So follow for more.